This next example is going to deal with trigonometric functions. In working on these examples, the first thing that we want to do is remember our trig identities. So remember, cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1. And if we wrote it backwards, it's the same thing. So we could say sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So basically, we're going to need to square everything here. So when we square it, on this right side here, and also on this left side here, what do you think we're going to end up with? Well, on the left side, the x is going to be squared, so we have x squared. That expression on the right side is going to be squared, 5 squared, and now we're going to square the cosine also, so cosine squared. And we're squaring it because we had sine and cosine squared already. If we square the y, then we're going to get y squared. If we square the 5, we're going to end up with 5 squared. And if we square the sine, then we have sine squared. And again, just to reiterate, we're trying to relate everything back to those trig identities. So now we have x squared, and that's going to basically end up being 25 because 5 squared is 25, cosine squared, and then the other side, y squared, equals, now the 5 squared again is 25, and we're going to keep the sine squared. So our expression had us adding sine squared and cosine squared. So we're going to add these expressions. We're going to take x squared plus y squared and add them together. So what that means is that the right-hand sides also have to be added. So we're going to take that 25 cosine squared, and we're going to write that in because that was the same as our x squared. And we're going to take the other side too. The y squared, remember, was the same as 25 sine squared. So we're going to write that in as plus 25 sine squared. We can factor out the 25. So we're going to end up with basically the same as 25 times the quantity of cosine squared, if we factor it out, plus sine squared. And remember, cosine squared plus sine squared, however you write it, is equal to what? It's all equal to 1. So that means that this expression here is basically just 1. So we're writing 25 times 1. So our x squared plus y squared is equal to what we have here. And what is 25 times 1? That's easy. So we're going to end up with basically the following. We now have an expression, and we're going to write it here, x squared plus y squared. We already had that part. And then the right-hand side, 25 times 1 is just 25.